Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Co-Parent Diaries. My name is Lucy, and I am your host. And today I want to talk about sharing special days and special events with your co-parent. Mostly, when we talk about this, it's birthdays and Christmas. But there might be other holidays that you also share. But just for this one, I'm going to talk about birthdays and Christmas because that's really the ones that we care about and we share. Easter for us, not a huge deal. We don't massively celebrate it. Whoever has the kids on Easter, you do what you're doing. I don't feel the need to ask for certain time over Easter, and nor does Dad, so that's fine. But I want to talk about Easter and birthdays and Christmas, because actually Christmas is coming up soon, and we've just had my daughter's birthday on Friday, and it was such a breeze. And actually so was my other daughter's birthday this year, and I just wanted to run through some stuff that we did and are doing around Christmas, to share, I guess, a bit of a glimpse into that. So it was my 6-year-old Bella's birthday this Friday, just gone. And so Friday is actually a changeover day for us, which means it's a mummy and a daddy day. So when I spoke to their dad and said, hey, it's Bella's birthday, I don't particularly want to request any extra time with her on her actual birthday. I'm really okay with a couple of hours in the morning before school, and then it's your whole weekend. You do whatever you want to do. Are you cool with that? He was like, yeah, absolutely. And so we didn't really want to change anything about her birthday. We've got a bit of an arrangement with our kids that each child will get like a big birthday party every other year. So my 7-year-old got it this year. So, we spent a significant amount on her party. And then I said, right, for Bella's, we won't do her a big birthday party this year. We'll do it next year. That way it helps us spread the cost, but it also means that, we're not organising too much and doing too much. So this year was a no big birthday party Bella year. So nothing really needed to be arranged. However, I really wanted to do something for her. So I did organise a little tea party with some of her school friends. Actually, pretty much half the class turned up, which was so special. At our local park, me and her sister went and got a cake for her from Costco the night before. And we got some snacks, and we just literally went to a park after school and invited all her friends. She got to be sung happy birthday, and she got some gifts, and they played for like an hour and a half, and then we all went home. That was the day before her birthday, so that was on the Thursday. And I let Dad know. I was like, hey, on Thursday, I've organised a little tea party at the park. You're all welcome to come. So him and his family, all welcome to come if you want to. It's just going to be me, some of the school mums, and a bunch of kids blowing out some candles on a cake. Because I just was like, I just want you to know what we're doing. Of course you're welcome. And he was like, great, thanks. We have plans, but thanks for inviting, which was absolutely fine. I told Bella it was going to be her pretend birthday the day before her birthday, and said, what we're going to do is we're going to do a tea party at the park, and then we're going to come home, we're going to open all your presents. And I also let Dad know that I was going to do her presents on the Thursday, because I felt like if we did it on Friday morning before school, one, it could be a bit overwhelming for her, but two, she may then want to come back to my house after school and play. And I was like, ugh, I didn't want to disrupt anything that Dad might have had planned. Also, that does sound a little bit big-headed of me, but it has been what she's wanted to do in the past. So it was more of like, okay, this has happened in the past, so I just want to make sure that we avoid it as much as we can. So we had a great time on Thursday. She told me it was the best pretend birthday ever. And then Friday, she went to school. And then Dad picked her up and had her the whole weekend, and has still got her because it's his week. I did get to have a phone call with her this morning. I did say, like, hey, can I have a chat with her? Just to make sure she had a good birthday. We don't normally do phone calls during the week. And so it was a quick 5 minutes. She showed me what her presents were, and I wished her a good day at school, and that was that. So that's sort of how we did this year. My other daughter's birthday, Parker, she was 7 this year, and she got the party. And it was really the first birthday where we were properly separated, not living in the same homes and with partners. Her birthday the year before, we were separated, but we were still living together, so it was pretty easy to organise. But this year, I actually had a conversation with her dad and I said, look, I think she deserves a birthday party. She's 7, she hasn't had one yet, she wants a birthday party. Are you good to split the costs of the birthday party? And what we'll do is just do a party every other year for them. That's where we sort of came up with the idea, because birthday parties, they were like $500 to $1,000 because the kids want to invite everybody. So we did, and so I then split the chores, the responsibilities of her party. So I said to him, look, I'll plan, organise, book the party. That's my strength. I'll do the party favours, like the party bags, and I'll organise food. And I said, can you organise the cake and organise the balloon? Just had to keep it very simple. And he was like, yep, I can do that. And I said, so the cost wise, I'll pay for the lolly bags and some food. You pay for the cake and the balloon. Definitely a big difference in price, but I didn't want to have to go right down to every last dollar and split it in half. It just wasn't a big deal. So we did that, and it was on a Sunday, her birthday, and it was a me weekend. So I actually got the kids back on the Friday, and it was a whole week. Now, Dad didn't actually ask for any extra time with her on her birthday. If he had, he would have absolutely have got it, but he didn't ask for it. And because he didn't ask for it, I didn't suggest it. Maybe I should have done, I don't really know, but we actually went away that weekend with Parker for a wedding. Me and my partner had a wedding, and so we actually took them away that weekend to like have a little trip away, and it was a bit special for her birthday too. And we came back on the Saturday night before her birthday, and then Sunday we had her party. Dad and his partner and her kids rocked up, and we just did the party together. It was like a painting party. It was so much fun. And then we just came home, and it carried on for a normal rest of the week. So that was good. That's how we sort of did the first party. But again, like when it comes to these kinds of things, you do have to just find it out. You just sort of work it out as you go. With the birthdays, we've sort of worked it out now. Like, we know what year's having a big party, which means we need to split the cost of something. And then otherwise, I guess we're just going to sort it out every year. It depends on whether the kids are at school, or, you know, what day it's on, what everyone else has going on. For me, like, I don't feel like I have to wake up with my kids on their birthday. I'm completely okay if they're with Dad on their birthday and I see them, you know, at another point in the day. But it is important for me to see my kids on their birthday, and it's important for their dad to see them on their birthday too. So I think every year what we'll probably do is just split the day. And if it's not on a changeover day, what I'm going to assume is, let's say if it was today, she would be with Dad this morning, I would pick her up after school and have her for a few hours and then take her back to Dad's. I think that's probably how we'd work out birthdays. And again, it's like, take into consideration what's best for the child. You know, does the child want to be with both parents? Do parents live close enough together that you can do something like that? If we lived like 2 hours away from each other, that would be very difficult to do. You'd have to drive up to the child and just go hang out with them at the park or something, or take them for dinner and then drop them back home. And also, like, what do you want as parents? Make it really clear to your co-parent what really matters to you around birthdays and special events, and let them do the same and try and come up with a compromise. It might be that you alternate birthdays every year. It might be that you split the day. It might be that you spend the days together if you can do that. But it's got to be also in the best interest of the child, but also for you guys. Now, Christmas is a whole different ball game. And I've got quite a few friends that have constant battles and debates around Christmas because everyone wants to spend Christmas with their kids while they're young. And it's one that we're still working out too. And look, I'm going to be fully honest here. I don't want to not wake up with my kids on Christmas morning. Christmas is one of those holidays that I get so excited about. I make such a big deal out of it. Like, it means so much for me, and I love the Christmas magic around Father Christmas and all of that kind of stuff. And they are going to get to an age one day where that magic isn't going to be there, and I don't want to miss out. And look, I have had this attitude of like, you left us, why should I give up Christmas? As the separation went on, like, you know, as I went on, I definitely realised that's not quite the right mindset to have. But like, it's also totally valid. It was also totally valid. I didn't sign up to not have my kids every Christmas. But, you know, that's not a reason to also want to keep them every time. So last year was our first Christmas separated properly. The Christmas before we had separated, but only a few weeks before Christmas. So the kids didn't know we were in the same house, you know, like, they had no idea. It was literally no different. It was a bit awkward, like when Christmas Day was over, and it was sort of like, oh, okay. But, you know, we were still working some stuff out. On Christmas last year, I had the girls Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, and I was very stern that year that I'm having the kids. We'd had the conversation about Christmas quite far in advance. And I'd also said to him, hey, why don't we do Christmas morning together? You come to my house, you can be part of the Christmas magic, opening the presents, all that kind of stuff. And then you go back to your house. I'll have the kids for a little bit, and then I'll drop the kids to you at lunchtime or just after lunch, and you can do whatever you want with the kids. You have your Christmas with the kids, and then I'll have them back again in the evening. And that is what we did. Now, we ended up both having partners at Christmas. So my partner was here, and his partner was at his place. It was only him that came for Christmas morning, and it was fine. It was strange, but it was fine. Everybody gets on. It was, you know, the kids loved having him there. The kids loved showing him the presents, which was really the main thing. And then he watched them, he left, and then we went and dropped the kids off a bit later. We're not going to do that this year. I think it's better to have the separate Christmases this year. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with it, but it just felt more special just being able to do something with the kids. This year as well, like, my partner has his kids for Christmas. Him and his co-parent alternate Christmases. So for this year, I also wanted to have the kids again on Christmas morning, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to align with the same Christmases as my partner, so we could all have the kids together. Now, I also understood that it was probably a bit selfish of me to ask my co-parent to have the kids again on Christmas morning when I had them last year. And I was fully prepared for him to say no, he wants them. But he said, let's do the same as we did last year. You have them in the morning, I'll get them in the afternoon. And then we've just got a question mark on whether he keeps them then overnight and I get them back Boxing Day, or whether I get them back Christmas night. I think that might just be a case of we might just play it by ear on the day and see what the kids want to do. Not bothered either way. But at least now I am able to align the Christmases with my partner. So next year, as much as I will hate not waking up to the kids on Christmas and doing Santa and all those kind of things, it is what's fair. It is what is fair for the kids, and it's what's fair for him. He deserves to have a Christmas morning with the kids. So, and my partner won't have his kids, so we'll have no kid Christmas morning, which I don't know, might not go so well. Maybe we should have alternated every year, but it's gonna be different, that's for sure. And of course, as the kids get older, they're going to be able to make their own decisions on what they want to do. And actually, if the kids next year go, no, we don't want to spend Christmas morning with Dad, we want to spend it with you, again, that will probably be a conversation we'll have. But as it stands, I have the kids Christmas morning and Christmas Eve this year for the second year in a row. And then next year, Dad gets to have them. And, you know, well, obviously, and actually next year, Christmas is on a Friday, so it's a changeover day anyway. So we'll probably just leave everything as it is. And it is a dad week, so he would have them in the morning and then they would come to me in the afternoon. So next year, yeah, we'll just leave everything as it is. But it's something that a lot of people will fight for. It's something that a lot of people will spend a lot of money in court over around Christmas. And sometimes I just think if you take the emotion out of it and just put a logical head on, it's much easier to work out. Now, for example, if you're separated and your child has had the last 6-7 Christmases with mum and you all of a sudden now want Christmas morning, you need to have a think about what would be best for the child. Does the child want to come to yours for Christmas, or do they believe that they can stay with mum because that's all they know for Christmas and that's actually what they want to enjoy? Who knows? Like, who knows in that situation? Does every parent have the right to have equal access on Christmas Day? Yes. That does, I guess, come with, you know, some conditions. Again, where are you? Like, how far away are you? Can you share Christmas Day? You know, what are your Christmas traditions? What does the child want to do? What have you always done? You know, all of a sudden just chopping things up when tradition has been for so long can also be a bit difficult. But also I think with Christmas, you can stretch Christmas out. When my parents split, and although I was 18, 19 when my parents split, we'd spend Christmas Day with mum every year. No doubt about it. None of us were leaving mum on her own for Christmas. And then Boxing Day, we would go to my dad's. And that was fine. Like, we just got 2 Christmases, and that's very normal for a lot of families. Like, does it matter you don't have them on Christmas Day? No. Also, like, when it comes to the Santa thing, you know, and I've said to Dad this year, this is something that we haven't quite organised yet, me and Dad, is like, are you going to chip in for Santa presents? Or do you want to get your own Santa presents and we'll just say Santa's been to both houses? Or do you not want to do Santa, do not want to chip in with Santa presents, you're just going to do your own thing? That's probably the only question that we haven't sorted out yet for Christmas, which I'll probably do soon. And again, I couldn't care less whatever one he wants to do. I'll pretty much present him. And this is our dynamic. Me and my co-parents' dynamic is I usually just present him with a bunch of options and he just picks the one that he wants to do. And I'm like, cool, yeah, no worries. It's our dynamic, it's our personality, it's the doer in me, and it's just the yes no person in him, and it works. If he came to me one day with a proposal and a list of options, I'd be like, wow. I mean, don't take me wrong, I would like it, it would be great, but it's not very likely. It's just not how we work. But, you know, and there's good and bad in that. So that's probably the only thing we haven't organised yet around Christmas. We did do a joint Christmas present last year for the kids. We got the kids a trampoline. He was a little bit more strapped for cash last Christmas and wanted to get the kids a trampoline. I said a trampoline is a great idea. I don't have the space for it. It would be at his house. And I was like, you know what? I'm happy to go halves on that. You keep it at yours, we'll go halves, which we did. I probably won't do something like that again unless it's like bikes or scooters or, you know, something a bit bigger like mobile phone, you know, as they get older. But again, that would be something that I would be more than happy to do. You know, as the kids get older, if we decide we're going to get the kids mobile phones for Christmas, we go halves each. Like, that makes sense. So, I don't know if that covers everything. I don't know if it offers much advice, because for these kind of things, I'm still working this stuff out. We're still working this stuff out. And the kids change and their needs change and they adapt. So I just thought I'd offer some insight into, I guess, what we've decided to do this year. I'd love to know in the comments, and I'd love to know, send me a DM on socials. You know, what do you do for Christmas? What's your arrangement for Christmas and birthdays? Like, I'm really interested in how everybody else does it, because there's some really cool things that people have done, especially around like sharing custody or sharing birthdays and things like that. So do feel free to DM or comment those. And as always, thank you so much for watching and listening. I would really love it if you could subscribe and follow the channel. We do, me, myself and I, launch an episode every Monday, and we are working in progress to get some bigger and better things on for this podcast. But for now, it's just me, my phone, and some chats, and hanging out with you guys. Anyway, thank you as always. Take care.